I do know that my daughter, the minute I hand my phone to her, the first thing she does, she even has her own folder that has age-appropriate games in it, because I have a few games that she can play, but she finds them boring. I have like the mental acuity games that I like, but they're not really kid games, so I have a whole folder of just kid games for her. And so she goes right to that as soon as I hand my phone. So. Welcome to the Disney Hack Podcast. My name is Joey, and I'm here today to illuminate some things that you might not know about in the Disney world when it comes to passing time in between those trips. I was fortunate enough to meet somebody online through one of the Facebook groups. If you're not active in some of the Facebook groups, you're missing out. Some of them can get pretty political, but there are several really wonderful groups out there, and I was fortunate enough to meet Cassie, who is a blogger and encapsulates all the magic that she can in between and during her Disney trips, and shares her best tips and tricks with all of the people that she knows and loves, and anybody else that happens to just stumble across her like I did and is fortunate enough to find the information that she has to share. So I wanted to welcome her on the show and talk about something that really stood out to me. So welcome to the Disney Hack, Cassie. How you doing?
Good. Hi. How are you doing?
You know, you've got a pair of real Disney nuts when we get up very early on a Saturday morning to get together and record. Cassie is in the Denver area. Is that correct?
Actually, Montana.
Oh, you're in Montana. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Cassie's in Montana, which is in Mountain Time, and it's currently about 5:40 in the morning over there, because this is the only time we could find where we had any peace and quiet to get together and talk about this stuff.
Yeah, Disney parent life.
Well, tell me a little bit about your history. How did you fall in love with Disney, and what led to you creating your blog?
Well, actually, I grew up in the Los Angeles area, so I was right near Disneyland. It was a tradition to go more than once a year. Back then, it wasn't a big thing like it is now, but we would go once or twice in the summer, and I just grew up loving Disney. I had Mickey everything when I was a little girl, and so that's where the Disney love started. I have since moved to Montana, obviously, and so that Disney love has not really died, and it's stuck with me until now, and it just grew into something where I just want to share my knowledge to everyone else, because nowadays Disney is becoming so popular, and now I have friends and family that looked at me weirdly that I wanted to go to Disneyland on my 21st birthday are now coming to me for advice on what is the best way, and what I guess the best way to budget to get to some of the parks, and it just grew from there. And now I just collect all my data and put it into a blog, and now I'm just happy to share all my information.
Yeah, plus it gives you an opportunity to still dive in and immerse yourself in some Disney fun. I see you online just about every day being an active participant in the discussions around Disney. So that's a nice way to keep yourself active and involved in something that you're so interested in. So tell me about living in Montana. I probably have 5 listeners in Montana that might be interested in knowing what you have discovered when it comes to getting to Disney. Would you find that going to California is less expensive than going to Florida in terms of travel?
No, actually, I went to Walt Disney World for my honeymoon. It was the first time I went back in 2015. And from planning that to planning a Disneyland trip here in February, Florida is actually cheaper. I don't know why it is, but it is. I've been trying to put the numbers together, because I'm going to talk about it way into the future on my blog. But yeah, push comes to shove, the Florida park is a lot cheaper than getting to Disneyland.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I have a friend who's a regular contributor on the show, and he lives in Pennsylvania, and oftentimes flies very, very affordable flights from Latrobe Airport, where he lives, down to Orlando. Sometimes less than $30 for a ticket down there on Spirit. So yeah, it's pretty interesting that flying to Florida would be cheaper than flying to California, considering the amount of traffic that they both get. But interesting. So good to know. So I'm excited to hear about your trip to Florida. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, some other time. But why don't we go ahead and dive into an interesting article that is a blog you wrote titled "The Top 5 Disney Apps to Chase Away the Disney Blues." Tell me what inspired writing this article.
Well, I am a gamer in my off time. I am a huge gamer. I have an Xbox One. I've played games since I was a little girl too, and that progressed into the phone apps that we have now. I love to play the game applications that are all across, like Google Play and what is it on iPhone? It's App Store. Yeah. And I'm always looking at the new games. I'm always fascinated by it. I almost went to college to pursue design in video games, so it just, that's kept with me too. And so from the love of just playing video games all the time and playing the video game apps on the phone, I've been noticing that there's more and more Disney games that are showing up on these app stores. And so lately I've been trying them out, and every game that I played on the article, I've played when they first debuted on the app stores. So that was the whole main reason why I made the blog post, was because I've tried them out before, and then I found them again because they became popular again. And so I wanted to see how different they were while trying to entertain me while in my downtime, because obviously I have a lot of downtime, even though I am a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, I went and looked at Disney's list of mobile apps, and it just goes on and on for days. There's, I'm just looking at it. There's two Moana games. There's Lightning McQueen. There's Pirates of the Caribbean. There's Frozen and Inside Out and DuckTales. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. And so pretty much anything that you might find, whatever your favorite character is, pretty much, if they don't already have it, they're going to have something surrounding that character, I'm sure, in the pretty near future. I know that Disney's made tremendous investments in mobile app gaming, as well as gaming for game systems like the Xbox and the PS systems. So it's pretty interesting. And you have narrowed it down to 5. I'm just looking at this list, and I can't believe how many games there are that exist. I've only played just literally not even a handful, less than a handful of some of these games. So if you want, we can dive into some of your favorites here and kind of go down the list.
Okay.
You can explain to me what about these games jumped out at you and made you want to include them in your article.
So to look at the game apps that I picked was mainly, they're different than the ones that you would find in the App Store right away. Like you mentioned, there's the Frozen, and then there's the Moana. And if you notice, they all kind of have the same theme, the ones that you saw. It's Frozen Fall, I believe. That is like, it's taking from Candy Crush, something that everybody knows. And the Moana one, there's one that's just like Frozen Fall, and then there's another one where they call Time Management. The game is based off of creating your own island, I believe. And so they're all like based off of the most recent movies. So it's really easy to make those games and put them out there so they can make the money and everything. The ones that I chose are different, and they engage you. And basically, I picked them too because they had more playtime than the other ones. The other ones I got really bored with and just cast them aside and went to the next one. These I continue to still play today, even after a year.
Wow, yeah, that's great. Something that has some sustainability. The few games that I have played, you're right, I kind of got bored with them. I downloaded the Frozen Free Fall, and and I had downtime at the department store while my wife or daughter were trying on clothes. That was the thing that I would go to just to kind of pass the time, and it doesn't have really the staying power. And I find it interesting that they take a particular game model, like the Candy Crush model, and they can make a Maleficent game out of it or a Star Wars game out of it. I know there was a when Force Awakens came out, there was a Star Wars version of that very same game, and of course, Frozen Freefall was very popular for them, which I think was an indicator for them to continue to create and recreate this particular game with different skins for different themed brands or what's the word I'm looking for? So yeah, this is what happens when you wake up this early in the morning.
Yeah.
Cobwebs in the brain. Can't think of certain words, but the different Disney IP, they tend to just reskin the same exact game model.
Exactly, because they even made an Inside Out one. I remember that one. I think they're just trying to throw the same game out with the different Disney movies to see if they'll stick to someone.
Yeah, and it makes sense because they can put it free in the App Store with in-app purchases. You play for a little while because you like Inside Out and you want to continue to recapture that feeling that you have that the movie gives you by seeing these characters on the screen constantly. And then at some point, the game won't let you play anymore unless you pay a little money. And now they've converted it into some kind of revenue stream for them, which is smart. And again, like with Frozen Freefall, I remember reading articles in the news about how that was very successful for Disney. Not only is because Frozen was a very successful IP, but now you have little things, and they did this in lots of different ways with merchandising all across the board. But if you have a particular thing in merchandise, like an app game that sticks out and all of a sudden becomes, profitable, they're going to continue to pour their investments into it. I don't see on your list some of the non-Disney or what would be considered not originally Disney, such as the one with the little alligator.
Oh yeah.
Where's my wallet?
That one frustrated me. I am a gamer. I like puzzles, but that one just it's not my cup of tea. So that's why I didn't. I played it when it first came out. I played the second one when that came out. I felt like it was my duty to, and I just can't get into it.
Yeah, I felt it was a lot like the others where I played it for a while, but it was kind of the same game board every time. It just got a little bit more difficult every time. And eventually I gave up. Unlike you, I'm not a gamer at all. So let's look at your list here. And let me see if I've got some of these here right. The first one that I came to is the Disney Magic Kingdom game by Gameloft.
So this is a simulation game. So that means that it's like if you ever played The Sims, you're creating a world. And this one is based off of the parks. So you're starting off in like the hub of a park. It's not necessarily Disneyland or Disney World. It's just a hub of a park. And so the premise of the whole game is that Maleficent wants to cast a curse on the kingdom, and she has succeeded. So it's your duty to unbreak this curse by bringing back all the characters. And this is any Disney character. And when I first started playing this game, they only had select characters of the movies. And when I came back, it's just like they almost have every single classic Disney movie character in here. And it is really difficult right now to get through it, mostly because you have to unlock these characters. And to unlock these characters, you have to do tasks. And to do tasks usually tends to take 4 to 6 hours in a day. So I tend to forget about this one, but it does have playability where you keep coming back to it. Even when you remember, you won't be playing for very long at a time, but you're still playing. I'm still playing, and I started replaying this game about 3 months ago. So I'm still playing it. And that's why I put it on the list, because it still has that playability. It still brings me back. It has my attention. So that's why I put it on my list.
You had mentioned in your article that you recommend downloading the game to play on tablets because it's easier to see everything on the screen. Looking at a picture of it here, it seems pretty detailed.
Yes. It is probably not the most detailed game that I reviewed, but it is pretty detailed. They all like move and do their own little thing. All the characters do. They just walk around, and if you ask them to do a task, you can see them doing the task. Like I had Mickey play the trombone, and it was Mickey playing the trombone all through the park.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Now, one of the things that the mobile app, I guess, explosion has caused is the ability to do some interactive gaming where you can actually play with friends. Is this one of those games where you can do something in between friends or help a friend out, for example?
In a way, it's very, very limited. There is a social aspect to this, yes. You can connect through Facebook, and the only way that you can socially interact with your friends is that you get to go to their park. You get to look at their park, and the only way to help them is to help them unclick the task, and so you get a reward for the task when it is completed. It's called like magic potions or something. It's the currency in the game. And when you go to their park and a task is done, you can unclick it, and that will help them when they come back. So they don't have to unclick it. They already have the currency, and then you get a slightly smaller amount of currency in return.
That's great. This would be one that I would think that future Imagineers or, armchair Imagineers would enjoy playing since they get to build their own theme park.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on down to the Emoji Blitz. Now, this is one I've never played, but I've definitely heard of because there's an interesting, if I remember correctly, an interesting benefit that you get, sort of little reward that you get for playing this game in the form of the different emojis that you can use on your phone. Am I correct in understanding that?
Yes, exactly. When you play the game, you unlock the emoji characters, and when you do it, you can access it to a emoji keyboard, and it's different for each phone, but there's an option in your text messaging system that you can open a keyboard, and then you can send these emojis to other people. You can also download another app that's attached to this one that you can make an emoji of yourself. So it's like kind of like double reward with this one, but you have to download another app for the emoji self.
Yeah, my daughter likes to play the app that comes with the Disney XD where you can watch videos, but there's also sometimes some games in there. And I know you're a fan of DuckTales, and recently they had a feature on there where you can make yourself into a DuckTales character, which we thought was kind of fun and enjoyed getting to do that. And she made variations of herself in different outfits. So do that stuff. I'm sure if I download this, I should have a blast with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Is this one that you continue to play, or is this one that you got kind of burnt out on?
I continue to play daily with this one. This one also has the Candy Crush aspect to it, but there's so much more. It's not like Frozen Fall where you just keep going down the levels and everything. This one, you get to pick which emoji you get to play with. And what I mean by that is, say I have Ariel. She sits down in your left-hand corner of your screen, and the more emojis that you get in a 3 grouping or more, you get points for that, and it fills up her Blitz bar. This is where the name comes in. And as soon as the Blitz bar is complete and full, you get to click on Ariel, and she does a special move, and her move is to pop bubbles, and when the bubbles pop, more emojis get off the board, and then you get the full amount of bonus points from doing that from her. And then you can also level up Ariel to make the points cost or benefit you more, and so it just continues to play with more challenges to each game that you play. And the whole aspect of this game is to collect all the characters that you can. By continuing to play and getting all these bonuses and high scores, you get currency in the game that you can buy these special boxes that unlocks more characters.
Now, I don't see a lot of the Disney character emojis in my friends' posts on social or in text messages. Is that something that you have to have the app in order to see, or am I just missing it because I'm not seeing it?
I don't think a lot of people use it, and it's kind of a sad thing, actually. I've tried using it back and forth, but the big downfall about this keyboard is that it takes quite a bit of effort to get to that keyboard, and then you have to exit out of the keyboard to continue typing. So they haven't figured out the best way to cross over. So it's easy. So when you're typing, you can just like, oh, happy birthday, and then you have like a Pluto emoji with hearts in his eyes or something like that. It's not as easy as just typing it. You have to open the keyboard and then use that emoji and then close the keyboard and go back to your own keyboard. I think that's why you're not seeing it as much, but I have used it on people that don't have it and they can see it.
Oh, okay, good. Well, I'll be looking for it. That's pretty cool. I know of some other friends that have talked about it, and I think it would definitely be great to use, Mickey emoji when I'm talking about a Mickey bar or something, where I can apply whatever that, character to add a little emotion or a little tonality or context to whatever I'm texting or tweeting or posting to Instagram. That'd be fun. All right, the next one on your list is Disney Magical Dice, the Enchanted board game. Tell me a little bit about this one.
So this one is kind of complicated. It is not for younger kids. So this is basically Monopoly. If you ever played Monopoly, this is exactly what it is. It's just the board is smaller, and now instead of the race car and the dog, you're getting Disney characters instead. And it was called Magical Dice when I first played it, because of the fact that you can collect different sort of die for your boards. Now that aspect has kind of not as present as it should be. You actually have to pay real money to get the certain kind of dice that you want, and it's not a big deal anymore. The main aspect of this game is to collect the characters for your board. And I think there's like 4 boards right now, and they're all based off of some part of Disney. Like the first board is obviously a Disney park, and so they have Main Street USA and all that.
I like how the characters even have like a little platform that looks like they would be a little die cast character or something that you would put on a game board.
Yeah, Disney should take the opportunity to make these and sell them.
Now, is this another one that you'd want to play on a tablet?
Yes. I actually have it on my iPad, and it's just a lot easier to see a big screen. And plus, this is a large game. So even though I put the download size, that is not the actual size of the actual app. The app is much bigger. It will slow down your phone. So I do highly recommend a tablet.
Yeah, it looks very detailed when I'm looking at the picture here. So in the angle you have it, it looks like having it on an iPad or a other type of tablet device would be a lot better. Can you play with anybody that is using the same system on another device in another place, or do you all have to play on the same device?
I'm not sure. I haven't tested that out. I don't have any friends playing this game. This one's hard to look out for. It's usually 4 players, and I'm trying to figure out if it's actually in real time or not, because some of these games, they actually have you play and then they remember what you did and then have you play against someone else later. It's kind of a confusing thought to think about right now, but most games do that, so you don't have that lag time, that waiting for the other people. Sometimes you'll get some lag, but it's not long. Like I said that it takes 25 minutes for a board game to play, and I think it's because you'd never know how long Monopoly is going to be. I mean, we all played Monopoly as a kid or sometime as an adult, and the reason why we get so angry because it takes so long. But that's why they have a game timer, but I've never played more than 6 minutes in this game, and that's pretty long in itself.
You had mentioned in your article that they should change the age rating from 4+ to 10+ because of the complexities for small children.
Yeah, I didn't even quite understand all of the rules, and I'm still trying to figure out all the rules. And when it said 4-year-old and above, I'm like, there is no 4-year-old that's going to understand what's going on.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. I am completely unfamiliar with this, so you're going to have to walk me through even the IP on this one because I don't know any of the characters. I've never even heard of this. Kingdom Hearts Union Cross? What's going on here? Because none of this looks familiar.
So Kingdom Hearts is so near and dear to my heart. So as a gamer, this is why I'm so excited about this game. When back in the day, I don't know what year it was, but I used to play Final Fantasy. This is a role-playing game that a lot of people, if you know about it, you know about it. And it is a Japanese type game that's role-playing where you fight monsters and there's some kind of weird elongated story along with it, and that's what captured us. When I first started Final Fantasy, it was Final Fantasy VII. I think it goes all the way up to 14. I could be wrong, but at the time it was on PlayStation and it came with 4 discs. That's how long this game was. It was my absolutely favorite game. Then when you hear that your favorite game is going to be partnered with Disney, your other favorite company, you go crazy. So they combined Final Fantasy creators with Disney, and they melded in something that I think is my favorite game of all time. And they created new characters of this kid named Sora that gets lost into a universe, and he gets picked up by Donald Duck and Goofy, and he is told that the darkness is consuming everyone, and so you have to save the Disney princesses while fighting these monsters called Heartless. It's a long story, and I'm probably confusing you even more the more I'm talking about this, but it was a match made in heaven for gamers like me. They have since made so many games in the Kingdom Hearts series. They had 1 and 2 on PlayStation 1, and then PlayStation 2. It's hard to remember. It's been so long ago, but they also created side stories for this game on the Nintendo DS systems, and I played a couple of them. I haven't quite kept up with all of them, and now they're coming out with a Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's always been looming in the back of us Kingdom Hearts fans that it's coming, but we have not seen it, and we've been waiting for so long. So when I saw this, I was completely ecstatic because this is a free game, and it's such a complex game. It takes this universe that you love so much, and it turned it into a free tablet game where you can create your own character and customize it and go through the Kingdom Hearts universe and fight the Heartless and get in contact with all the other Disney characters that you know and love. And along with bringing this role play aspect again, where you can customize your key sword. I probably said that wrong, and sorry all you Kingdom Hearts fans for saying that. Keyblade, sorry. Just a reminder, it is 6 a.m, so sometimes words escape me. So a Keyblade, you get to customize your own Keyblade. But there is so much more to this game that I'm not quite touching up on, but it is a Kingdom Hearts fan's dream. And it updates constantly. It gives you more challenges. It gives you more events and everything. So that's why this was like near the top for me on this game.
Yeah, for anybody that likes, Final Fantasy or role-playing games, this seems like it'd be right up their alley. I have a lot of friends that play those kinds of games, and I'm surprised I had never heard of this. This seems really cool. It's the combination of, those really great graphic role-playing RPG games that have, it has a Disney element to it. So if you're a Disney fan, you can really get into that piece of it. And I was just reading some of your article earlier this morning before we got on the call, and that one of the cool things about this is that it has a gamification component built into the social aspect, whereas the more you play, the more options you have, and one of them is that you can eventually join a clan.
Mm-hmm. You can play with people from all over the world. I was just asking my clan, we have a chat box too, where everyone was from. I was the only one from the US in my clan, so that was pretty neat.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. Yeah, that looks like a lot of fun. I might have to check that one out. And the option to actually play with people from all around the world seems pretty cool too. All right, so the next one, and if I'm keeping count, I think this might be number 5, is the My Disney Experience Disneyland. Now, we're not talking about the My Disney Experience app, or are we?
We are.
So there's a game into the My Disney Experience app?
It's actually, no, it's just the app. This is the main one that I probably open almost every single day just to check wait times, just to see the characters, just to look around the map. And I know I'm not the only one that does this constantly when you're waiting for a next trip.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you're smart, you're getting on there, months before your trip and familiarizing yourself at least with the app so you know where all the features are, because you don't want to be at Disneyland or at Walt Disney World and have to find the bathrooms and you're struggling to figure out, what buttons to click on the app to get yourself there. But, when it comes to the map, now this is actually a game I've played, which is surprising to me because I didn't know it was a game. I have friends that, we look for the Stormtrooper. We found several Stormtroopers. If you go look at my Instagram account, I have close-ups and I have friends that send me whenever they find a new one. And, we go back and forth over, trying to find the interesting little hidden Easter eggs that we could find on the My Disney Experience app. But I didn't know there was a Groot hiding in Mission Breakout. That just, I think that just made my day.
I know, and if you look at that screen cap and then you look directly right, there is a rocket right by that blue pipe.
Blowing that up on my screen. There's a rocket. He's hiding down in the corner there.
Yeah. I noticed that when I took that screen cap. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Rocket.
And there's Groot right there on the balcony. That is so funny. So if you're looking at the My Disney Experience app, go to the Guardians, or I guess it would be the Tavon's Tower for Mission Breakout, and you want to. What I would suggest doing is taking a screenshot and then going to your Photos app and blowing it up from there, because you're not going to be able to get it large enough on the My Disney Experience app, which I think is one of the fun aspects. Is when you see something you think might be there, you almost have to take an extra step in order to actually confirm that it's actually there.
Mm-hmm.
That is neat. So what are some of the other fun things that you found on there?
That is it so far on the Disneyland one. I haven't really looked around on the Walt Disney World app to find anything. I just been finding Stormtroopers all over the Disneyland app. I think from friends on Twitter on the Disneyland Paris app, there's even Stormtroopers and other characters wandering around on their app too.
Well, I know that the Stormtroopers are all over Disney's Hollywood Studios on the Walt Disney World app, especially around Indiana Jones and the Chinese Theater and around Star Tours. So look there. But if you go to the Animal Kingdom and you're looking at the Cali River Rapids, there's a Stormtrooper riding one of the river rafts. It can be a fun game to go and look for those different little hidden little nuggets of fun that you can find in the My Disney Experience app. That is so cool. Well, I'm glad that you included that on there. And I'm so glad that you made this list. That is so fun. And what a great way to keep the magic alive in between your Disney trips.
Thank you. We all have to look for that little thing to keep us close to our Disney home.
That's right. Well, Cassie, I want to give you a chance to try and get a little nap in before your son wakes up. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how we can find you and connect with you and read more about what you write in your blog?
All right. Well, my blog is called the MouSeekers, so you can find me at themouseekers.com. I am scattered around a couple different social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I'm on Twitter a lot in the mornings. My blog is, again, about finding the magic where you don't usually see it. I try to find stuff that I believe brings Disney home or makes you feel like you're in a Disney park, and to capture that Disney magic that we love so much whenever we see that castle or whenever we see that Disney movie that we love so much. I try to bring that into my blog just so I can share with others that it's not going to the Disneyland parks or the Disney World parks. It's about keeping Disney with you. And I do have tips and tricks about getting to Disneyland, to Disney World, things that you probably don't know and probably things that you do know. And I'm always open for discussions about that. And I hope to grow more from here.
Well, if you're listening to this, go check Cassie out. She's at themouseekers.com. Her most recent article is about Disneyland ride heights for kids, which is kind of important to know. If you're taking little ones, you want to know what they're able to go on. I remember measuring my daughter just before our trip to Florida earlier this year to make sure that she was exactly tall enough to go on just about everything. And of course she was. So we were very excited to be able to do that for the first time, since she wasn't able to do that before in previous trips. Do you have anything that's coming out that you're kind of excited about, you want to let people know about?
Yeah, so my new blog post is coming out really soon. It is all about the Disney Halloween movies and our movies that can considered for a Halloween movie marathon. I just go into all of those movies and try to compile them for other people's countdown marathons, and even some that a lot of people have forgotten or don't even know about.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that, especially right now. That's very timely. I like how you changed your Twitter account and capitalized the EEK in MouSeekers. Made it very to the time of year. I think that's really clever and awesome. So I'm so excited that you came on. I look forward to having you back and talk about more things from your blog. And folks, if you get a chance to check out Cassie, let her know that you heard her on the Disney Hack. And feel free to reach out to her, ask her questions about things that she can write about in her blog in the future. If you want to get a hold of me, I'm pretty easy to find. I'm at thedisneyhack.com, and I'm just about everywhere else that you hang out on social media as well. I'm not tweeting oftentimes in the morning, though. I'm usually doing it at night. I'm sleeping right about now, but I don't have a little toddler at home. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Disney Hack. If you guys have any other great games that you love to play on your phones or tablets, please let us know. We'd love to check them out and keep the magic alive between trips. But until then, stay cool and keep buying those Bitcoins.